And yes, Gem Collectors with Shawn is here. I am that Shawn, and we're only a day later than normal. And first things first, let's do some business. Last week, all of you, especially Miss Gabby and Miss Barbara, did exactly what we wanted you to do in the event the show didn't completely post through. So as many of you, of course, commented on, and then I know Miss Gabby and Miss Barbara got to work calling Gem Shopping, since I have a feeling a couple of them are well connected with some of the customer service people and maybe beyond. To name drop somebody if you ever need to. For one thing, Asif, the director of production here, I just asked him if this issue comes up, and he said exactly to do what all of you did, or some of you did. And that is, as soon as you see if the show drops out, it has nothing to do with Gem Shopping. This is a YouTube issue as of late on bigger files. I don't know the politics behind it, or if there is, or what the intent is or not, but it's something that is not just happening with Gem Shopping. It's bigger files. I don't know. But if the show ends, of course, we didn't end the show in the middle of a presentation or anything like that. Call up customer service, say the whole show did not play, and that Asif told you to call them and report it, and to make sure that the show gets reposted. And if all would have worked right, it could have probably happened even quicker. So I'm just going to give you a name. Say to customer service that Asif said to contact Sarah. There you go. Contact Sarah to repost the show. And you can just say it like that. Also said to contact Sarah to repost the show. And it should happen. So just know that it is not our end. We're doing the best and all we can to bring it to you. And you guys are really going to know before me, because I could be doing a million other things. Like right now is Monday, when the show would have normally posted, and here I am doing this. So I would have been able to do two things at one time if there was another show posting. So tomorrow, if the show doesn't post completely, then you know what to do. Okay, let me see. Where did we leave off? And what are we doing? Okay, yeah, all right. Let's do comments. And wow, was I not really surprised at the number of trivia answers that were wrong. So let me restate the questions, and maybe some of you in your mind will think of your answers and then maybe realize where you went wrong. So the questions were, name 2 zeolite minerals shown during the show. So specifically, minerals that belong to the zeolite family. Now remember, you know, according to Struens and according to Dana and according to all these other mineralogists, there's a very, very actually complicated system of filing. It's kind of like, what is there, 7 different groups of, when you get down to the animals, starting off with, you know, the phylum and the families and the you know, all those other, I don't know my zoology and all that as like I used to, but same thing with minerals. You'll have them belonging to, let's say, the feldspathoids, and then belonging to a family below that, and then a family below. So you want in the zeolites for it to be a member of the zeolite family. And to be a member of the zeolite family, there's something it has to have, and it has to be starting off with an aluminosilicate molecule. Alumino, not alumina. Alumino. That tells you that makes a big difference. Now, alumina is actually a word referencing, if you have, say, aluminum powder, like we do in the lapidary world, that would actually mean ground up or man-made Al2O3, aluminum oxide, or also known as corundum, ruby and sapphire. Yep. So that is kind of in the trade as alumina. Alumino is aluminum, the O, oxygen, silicate. Silicate means it'll have silicon in it. So if you have, basically, it needs to be a hydrous aluminosilicate. Hydrous, you should kind of know by hydrate, the association, means water. So at the end of all the zeolite minerals, you will always have, there'll be a, chemistry-wise, there'll be a dot, as opposed to a parentheses and other symbols that are used, a dot, and then there'll be a number, and then there'll be H2O. In other words, along with the formula, which is going to contain at least usually a metal, and then aluminum, silicon, and oxygen, then the dot, and X number of molecules of water attached to it. Some of the zeolites will have 20 and 30 molecules as part of their structure. Now, the great thing about zeolites is it is, without trying to get too complicated, what it is there's a oxygen atom, and there's 4 oxygen atoms surrounding either a silicate atom or an aluminum atom, and 4 in a cube, 4 corners, there'll be an oxygen atom. And overall, the structure of a zeolite, what it allows is, it is what they call a chemical sieve. In other words, it is an amazing family that there is spacing and distance between the molecules to control either what you want to pass through or what you don't. So they're great filters. They are what is used to maintain or clean up oil spills. So in those big booms that you see, they can either use a type zeolite that prevents, in other words, the pattern of the molecular structure is so small that the molecules of oil won't pass through this material. And so it allows the material to be able to be picked up and gathered, or it can be used as a sieve where it allows only particular size molecules of something else to pass through it, but not sizes of other things. So let's say you had another material within the oil that you wanted to pass through, let's say a deeper boom where you still want water to pass through, but not the oil. It depends on the zeolite that you use. All of them have different sizes. There's so many things. They're used in agricultural purposes, fertilizer purposes, for dispensing. Remember, we're talking hydrous, so they all have water. So if you've ever heard about these miracle soils that you don't have to water if you're off on vacation, it's because they are pre-charged with water molecules, and these water molecules slowly release into the soil. So many things can be done by the type zeolite used in different purposes. So, yeah, it's the family of zeolites are truly, truly one of nature's gifts to the planet for the boo-boos man does, as well as your kitty litter and such things. Oh yes, there's all kinds of properties that zeolites can be used for. Okay, so that was question 1. Name 2 zeolite minerals shown during the show. All right, now I'm just going to say the 2 many of you got, well, some and some not. The obvious one, stilbite, some of you did not get. The other is analcime, which is a zeolite that is quite rare. Actually, you don't see or hear about that too much, too often. So those were the 2 main ones that I was looking for the answers. Now, where a lot of you got caught up with was showing the specimen that had cavinsite and stilbite together. And more than one of you for an answer for as one of the zeolites said cavensite. Well, I covered cavensite, calcium, vanadium, silicon. I talked about that, right? Because of the name, it gives away the minerals. And the other thing, it also is can contain and does contain water as well. So, but the item it does not contain that would make it a zeolite is the aluminum. The aluminum. Yep, no aluminum in cavensite. Therefore, it is not a zeolite, and it belongs to the silicate family. All right, let's get to the answers here. All right, starting off. Question number 2 was, what mineral did I feature that has polymorphs of selemonite and andalusite? And a lot of you got this one right, so well done there. Polymorphs, of course, are minerals that have the same chemical composition but a different crystal form that can make them look completely different than their other fellow, well, just like mankind, right? We're all made up of the same identical type of materials, and look at how different all of us look. So same thing, we're all polymorphs, basically, right? So polymorphs of andalusite, selemonite, the third one, kyanite. So well done there. Now, to give you an idea, you have polymorphs of, say, rutile. You have rutile, you have brookite, you have anatase. So that's just another one off the top of my head. A lot of different minerals, polymorphs, yep. All right. Miss Elisa in Florida says, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Shawn, thank you so much for your kind words and the fluorite. I don't have any fluorite, and how funny it is. Oh, that was the week before. I was wondering, I thought, did I at least get fluoride again? That was the page where I wrote the question. So, okay, here we go. Miss Gabby, yeah, here we go. This starts off right. I called customer service to give them a heads up, and Barbara told me the sales rep said she was talking to and also sent you an email via the regular gem shopping address. We're both working hard for you so you can get that mo money. That's cute, pretty cute how many of you refer to that, which is so true. I do need mo money, and that's the Southern way to pronounce mo, as in something that's bigger than a freckle, mo, or the mole that burrows underneath the ground and eats the roots of your grass and kills it. Well, I won't talk about my methods of taking care of that issue in previous episodes. Like, it's kind of bad, you know, when you actually are allowed and use items in the mining industry to crack and blow rock up when you're trying to get rid of some moles underneath your front porch that have literally just cleaned out the entire support frame of dirt underneath. I had some brilliant ideas, right? Oh, yeah. Well, we won't talk about that. That's, you know, but hey, if you need some concrete broken up, I'm the go-to guy for that. It reminded me of the little gopher on the golf course in Caddyshack. Yeah. If you've seen that movie, then you know what I'm talking about. The gopher still won in the end, pretty much. So, and then we have Miss Gabby again saying that, giving us a heads up that the show ended early. And then Miss Barbara also said she was right in the middle of buying the Fuchsite, and the show stopped at 1.07 hours. Miss Gabby and I have contacted everyone we can get the last hour of the show transmitted. Hell, there's more money that needs making. Somebody has to keep their elbow off the switches. And as I said, we know it's a YouTube thing. And couldn't be any of us here at GSN. No, not us chickens. Thank you both for doing what you did and bringing it to their attention. You did exactly what you were, what we would have wanted you to do. And thank you for that. Miss Ursula says, Shawn, hello, and happy to see that the second portion of Monday's show posted this time around without a hiccup. LOL. Absolutely love Miss Raven's stunning rhodochrosite pendant. Yeah, a lot of you like that. I did too. I wanted to know if she wanted to sell it. No wonder she locks her stuff up from me. Plus, her steadfast attitude of staying behind the scene since the name and the title belongs to guess who? I guess that would be something to do with Shawn, gem collectors with Shawn. Could be with Shaven or Ron. As the old saying goes, good things come to those who wait. I was ready to purchase this gorgeous Indian cavensite and stillbite specimen, but it was not to be this time around. Instead, it might go to another home along with the Kyanite. See the way she answers the questions in a written sentence. She should, Miss Ursula, you should actually write something for something to do, living, extra money. Polymorph andalusite and sillimanite. Since I've scored the sale of all sales by purchasing that parcel of emeralds to be placed into the cavities of the remaining Moroccan sugar crystal geodes from a previous shopping excursion with you. So much fun. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Ursula, that is exactly the creativity. I guess you're saying what I wanted to say, except, some of you might think I'm just a little eccentric. Really? Runs in the family. My grandfather in the Poconos had money, okay? But he went through it. It never made it to my dad. But he would water the yard while it was pouring rain. And yeah. So go figure. I could tell some stories on my dad, but he still watches my show sometimes. 91. I wouldn't want him telling some stories on me. Okay. Yeah, he's been in the hospital for 5 days now. He finally got out last night, so that was difficult for me this week. That's the first time he's ever been in a hospital at 91 like that for 5 days. But believe me, he was not a happy camper. He's not that kind of guy. No. She's going to take the parcel of emeralds and she's going to place those beautiful greens. And it doesn't matter the color green emerald in that case, because you have that constant sugar white color of the quartz. So any color you really put against there, unless it's the same color as the quartz, is going to really pop. It's going to really stand out. And the way those sugar quartz geodes are, they allow themselves with all the little, it's not like a regular quartz geode. So you have so many more little cavities, depressions, areas to be able to sit a gemstone in. I think that's just really good, clever idea. And those emeralds, what, were $10 for the parcel or something? I don't know. It was like I was just waiting to see how low it was going to take for one of you to get creative and know you couldn't go wrong at that price. And what a clever thing to do with them. So hats off to you, Miss Ursula. And I'm glad to see so much fun. That's exactly what it is. That is playing with the gemstones and rocks and minerals. And that's why doing inventory sometimes takes me so long. Because I get out all my rocks and minerals. It's what I love. And then I start looking at them and reading about them. And then I get the Geiger out, the Geiger counter. And then I get the long and short wave fluorescent meter out. And all my toys, you can imagine. Okay, she says, thank you once more for adding such beauty to our lives and speaking for your entire rock hounding community, wishing you nothing but the best. Sincerely, Miss Ursula. Thank you. That's very kind. She goes on to say from the other week, she goes, Shawn, hello, and another beautiful spring day in store for us in the northeast coast of Florida. Northeast coast. That is a nice area. Northeast. Yeah. Because it's north. St. Augustine is my favorite spot in Florida. Having lived in Florida for a long time, I can speak with a educated mind, because I used to, in Florida, actually vacation as a teenager, 17 and 18, my brother and I, living in Sarasota, we would actually go to Crystal River, which was north of Tampa Bay. And it was such a beautiful place with the springs there. And it was, I don't know, it actually seemed like an entirely different world. And there was Indian mounds also, the area that we went to. And we'd get, a hotel room. My folks were fine with that. And we'd explore the area and have a great time. So then St. Augustine, as I got a little older, and could go out and, you know, maybe go to a establishment that served things besides just food. So there's opened up a whole nother world, you know, as far as sitting out and watching the sunset and in the piers and going and to the Fountain of Youth. But the fort, remember, plus there's also those coquina shelled rock formations that are along there. So always looking for rocks. Always would be able to get a bike at wherever we would stay, and then was able to ride a bike. It's the only place I really would just park the car and ride a bike for the next time. And you can do that in Florida. In Georgia, not unless you're in shape, man, and have a 10-speed bike, and more like a 20-speed bike. More like a 20-speed bike with an electric motor on it. More like a 20-speed bike with a gas motor on it. Well, you get the idea. It's not flat around these here parts, especially up where I live. She goes on to say, coconut oil, got that right. She would have gotten chromium. She would have gotten the answer right from 2 weeks ago. And so well done on that. You could have been in the drawing for the winner. Shawn, hi, and this email was never delivered since I had in mind to proofread it, but forgot to hit the send button. That is a riot, because I bet there's not one of us that can say that we haven't done that. Thinking that we sent a text or a email to somebody, and we go back and wonder why we hadn't got an answer, and we go back to see what, and there it sits, never having hit the send button. That happens. I wonder if there's a scale that the older we get, maybe, you know, the graph goes up on how often that happens. Miss Cindy says, hello, Rock family. Excellent show. Thank you for reloading the complete video. Well, I wonder if you could have said that if we didn't. Shawn, please do show us some pictures of Miss Gabby's Christmas specimen ornament tree. I shall. I think she's adding more to it, so she's going to have to update the pictures. I had shown her tree back around Christmas time. So hopefully you caught those pictures, but I'm sure we can talk her into giving us an updated version, because I know 4 more were completed by summer and she's working on some more of them. And those are going to be ones you haven't seen, by the way, except the one, the turquoise one. The other 3, 4 altogether, are actually pictures painted by Summer of actual specimens she has. And wow, she's got some really unusual one, like a mushroom tourmaline. That was really unusual even for me to see. Miss Cindy says, analcime and stilbite, getting those right, and kyanite. She got them all right. That's till next week. Everyone be safe and good to yourself. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, who has retired from the nursing profession. Well done. Mr. Harry says, okay, so boo. I just cannot wait on the thinking that there would be an additional rest of the program, and that's my fault. Hey, Shawn, if people are calling you a werewolf, and if on the Namibian azurite cerussite and possibly silver specimen, you cannot touch it. You will die. Silver kills werewolves. LOL. Question is, them gemmy azurite crystals considered facetable, and is azurite even faceted? Yes and yes. It's very soft, but that doesn't keep me or others from faceting it and attempting to facet it. Splintering and cleavage is always an issue. It's kind of like rhodochrosite, cutting rhodochrosite, or calcite, which has perfect cleavage in all 3 directions. So even taking and removing them off a DOP stick can be treacherous. I know I had one splinter on me when I say it shouldn't have, but it did, probably because of a little bit of error on my part. We won't go into that. So azurite, if you have a big enough crystal, can absolutely be faceted. Just make sure that you do not try to cut the facets on the particular crystal plane or on its cleavage plane, or else you'll never be able to develop a polish and you'll most likely splinter the piece. So you want to cut it at least 7 degrees off of those angles. Even if you cut a small one, it would be a pretty neat challenge and a fun thing to do. And I would say to do something like an emerald cut first, that shape versus a round. I think it would be the rough would lend itself easier to do that, and you'd get you'd have to do less number of facets, and you'd get an open, very bright stone, and a lot less effort and time. And of course, due to the softness, I mean, I have diamond laps that are 3,000 mesh. I mean, that's kind of like what I would be cutting the facets with, is something, 1,200 at least to start. So, that's where you can't even use a 600 mesh lap, because boom, it would just cut so fast. And that's why it's good to have metallic laps that go up as high as I have them. For those very soft stones, because boy, it will cut a facet in a just millisecond. You just tap it to the plate and cut. Oftentimes I will use on stones that soft the ultra lap in what would normally polish it, and polish and cut it at the same time on the really small facets on small stones like that, because it's very easy to overcut. Then you're in a mess. You already don't have a lot of material to start with, and then it cuts really, really fast. So I'd love to see it if you cut one from that. Okay, we made it to the trivia with a whole bunch of notes on secondary minerals you mentioned in the other specimens, and that said trivia. Question number 1, which 2 items showcased have zeolite in the specimens? And the first is the lovely Indian Kyanite, which I'm leaning heavily to get for that Swiss blue color. Yeah, I'd love to get a Kyanite crystal big enough to cut. That said, the second offer with zeolite is analcime. He goes back and corrects his spelling, but I'm correcting it for him. Analcime. Okay, pick me, pick me, pick me. He actually wrote that, yeah. Nice job, Harry. LOL. I might pick you if you got it correct to start with. That Kyanite, you weren't the first one. I also want the green agate cabs and the garnet cut stone parcel. God bless you all and stay healthy, wise, and hopping in your mole money. Really digging that Raven jewelry, by the by, and I certainly work. Careful with the silver, Professor. Professor Wolf, he says. He also sent me a couple pictures of amazing, beautiful cut natural color citrine, and wow, I can't even show you. His kyanite that he found under some transmission power lines, that's a known deposit. Beautiful material, way nicer than the kyanite I found in the creek behind the apartment complex, but still, at the time with my son, that kyanite that I found might as well been as beautiful as yours, Mr. Harry. So yeah, that was neat to see. It's always fun to find something like that. So that's where we talk about kyanite being a phyllosilicate versus a tectosilicate that zeolites are. And that all has to do with the formation of the crystal itself. A phyllosilicate is basically going to be more lamellar plates, like mica is a phyllosilicate, and a lot of different other minerals are phyllosilicates. But what you want to be a zeolite is a tectosilicate. But Kyanite, one of the other things, as a side note, if you have a stone or want to cut stone from it, in the metaphysical world, it is known as the stone of truth, and it relieves anxiety as well. So that is a definite benefit indeed. Mr. Brad. All right, I love this. Okay. Greetings to Raven, Shawn, Osif. Notice I learned how to spell it correctly in the last show. And the Rock family at large. Here is hoping that all are well. So let me be the first to suggest an idea to purposely break the show into 2 parts. Okay, so we failed 2 times. Now you want to break the show into 2 parts. But actually his idea was kind of interesting. Here it is. I don't get home from work until later in the day, and it's too late to get the best items. But that's okay. Let the early birds get the worms for the first posting. Wait a few hours and post the second half of the show to let us late night shoppers have a chance at some inventory. You know what they say, it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. What do you think? Well, at the rate we're going, we're pretty much doing that, right? There's so much work to posting it, and they're so great about it. It would be add a lot of work to the team to do that. But from your end of it, I think, from the shopping end, always that would be a great idea. There's always sneaking off at work with your phone that we're on, and then shopping from the bathroom. That could be something you could try. Okay, so wait. Mr. Bragg goes on. By the way, a wise man once said, there is no such thing as a bad guess. I go along with that. So I'm going to use my best educated judgment to ascertain what you had planned for the trivia contest. I like this. He says, what are the blue edges around the rubies in Fruxite? That was a great question. Too bad it wasn't the ones I asked, but that would have made a great trivia question. Maybe you should make up my trivia questions for me. Answer being kyanite. Okay, I'll give you that. That was a better question. Unless that's what you thought the question was, then I'll take credit for it. As long as you got kyanite at there, right? Got the answer right. What elements make up cabinite? Answer, calcium, vanadium, and silicon. I think that should get my name in the hat. It would, except guess what? I've used that one before. Oh, yeah, before your time, Mr. Brad. I think that was one of our trivia questions. But it's, one of my favorite minerals because it gives away what it is made up of in the spelling of it. Shawn, you mentioned the headache after taking an iron pill. So here's my idea. Get your minimum daily adult requirement of iron by cooking with cast iron. Try cooking your bacon and eggs in a cast iron skillet, or cook just the eggs in a big dollop of bacon grease from a can on the back of the wood stove. It may not correct the problem with your iron levels, but you won't end up with a headache unless you hang the skillet from a hook above the stove. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. I can definitely see the headache happening from that falling off the hook above the stove, since most of us have a cabinet that wouldn't be thick enough to hold a frying pan above the stove. You know what? You talk about the can above the stove with the bacon grease. I grew up with my dad saving every bit of bacon grease. And when it came time to do fried eggs, oh man, he took a dollop of that bacon grease, put it in there, and then what he would do for sunny side up, he wouldn't even flip them over. He would take that, he'd tilt the pan, take that bacon grease and a spoon, and that hot bacon grease, he just would spoon over the top of the egg to just cook over the top of it, and oh, did it make for some good eating. Of course, until we found out just how terrible bacon grease was. But before I gave up bacon grease, I had to try it. It was a Justin Wilson, the old Louisiana cook. He had a recipe that was how to make fried chicken in bacon grease. Oh, yeah. So imagine this, cooking fried chicken in bacon grease. I did it one time just because I had to, and it was truly everything you could imagine it to be. So anyway, now I'm hungry. But you know what? They do say, actually, if you do cook with an iron pan, that it does, of course, instead of, I probably have a high Teflon content in me, but they actually say you can get iron that way, so that is useful. And yeah. All right, so Miss Elisa says, so anyway, great questions there, Brad, for trivia. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew and rock family. By the way, the lovely Raven isn't here with me today. You would notice before too long. Yeah, she did 2 long shows with the vendor, Sam, who's been here forever. He's one of the good guys, and she is his product specialist and works with his office as well. So she's around here a lot. And worked over the weekend and then picked up a bug or something. Thank you for another great show of unique items, lots of information to go along with them. I love it. My answer to this week's trivia is analcime, and the other was stilbite on both the blue Indian chalcedony and the Indian cabinite specimens. The second question answer is kyanite as the polymorph of sillimite and andalusite. Miss Elisa, you are doing your homework. and retaining it. I just want to share, you featured the Ever Anna King Dragonfly on a ruby zoisite pendant. It's item 482-702-117 for only $48. Now listen to what she has to say. Somebody needs to grab that pendant. I purchased mine from you several months ago, and it looks so elegant. I received more compliments on this pendant than a lot of my other pieces, and priced now at only $48. As you would say, Shawn, wow, that is a deal. I just hope someone purchased it because they will absolutely love it too. I know, I can't believe that. Imagine the work that it went through, and that ruby and zoisite, and you get all that silver work and that nice fancy veil. And I've got it at $48, but that's a sale price. Ms. Elisa, I know that you had to probably pay more for yours, but if that does not sell this time around, because that is actually less than my cost, it will not be that price ever again. And I may not show it ever again because there's other markets for that would bring a lot more money than that. But like I said, I was doing some sale items. I throw something out there. It's up to all of you to take advantage of it. And you can see how excited Miss Elisa is about her piece. So well done to you. Have a great week, everybody, and stay safe. Miss Barbara says, well, we got to the right people and they transmitted the full-length version of the show Tuesday near lunchtime. Hooray. Not surprised at your headache with the in supplement, having had to go that route myself. It kind of blocks up the internal plumbing unless you take something to alleviate that issue. Yeah, I'm only up to half of one of the pills so far in taking iron. It's not working out real well for me, but I'm easing into it because here's what her next comment says. I hope they test for where your iron is disappearing to, or else it's like putting a fresh can of Freon into your car AC before fixing where the old stuff leaked out. Better days are ahead for you through science. Yes, I did not have a good week. I went to my monthly back doctor appointment, and we got to talking about my anemia, and I told him my number, and I thought he was just going to like put me right in the hospital right then, because he said it's rare that men are anemic, and he said, just as Miss Barbara said, he goes, your iron is going somewhere. He goes, even in worst case scenario, you should. So he was real concerned. My primary care doctor never even called me back or anything about it. So yeah, I have something else to worry about. So something's not going anywhere. Luckily, I told my son's mom about the issue, but I said, do not tell my son because he worries, and I don't want him to worry, especially he's worried about, my dad, his opa, which, he loves dearly, and there's enough other worry. And so you guys know something that my own son doesn't know, because he watches snippets of the show, but watch this be the one. And I just told him that. He's going to say, Dad, you tell the whole world about your medical issues. You didn't tell me that. I can already hear him. Yes, so, losing iron, for me, that means I need to eat a rock, right? Works. I just need to play Popeye more. As to the trivia, you mentioned the zeolite stillbite twice with the cavensite and again with the blue chalcedony, and then the anoseam kyanite is a polymorphosillimite and andalusite. I want to opt out since I got the superb prize last week of opal and the Coast Garnet. Yeah, that was a score. Looking forward to testing the ruby in fuchsite. What an unusual piece that I think Brad spoke about once. We can talk, Brad. She has it in parentheses. Well, what does that mean? What are you looking for in the fuchsite? What am I missing out? Huh? What are you looking for? What are you testing for? Chrome, right? You gotta look for chrome. Tell me what you look for. That's all for me. Be well all, Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Mr. Harry says, sorry, I saw a typo on question 1. Anoseam. There, spelled correctly. Because I bet the answer should be spelled correctly as well. Now, I also saw I forgot the answer to the second trivia question. Duh. Question 2 is the item you showed with polymorphs of sillimanite and andalusite is the kyanite specimen. And I sent you my kyanite photos. I actually found out in my home state of Massachusetts, in the town of Blandford, along the high-tension transmission line pathways, there are all sorts of digging out there with massive tangerine-colored orange and mica and nice gemmy blades of kyanite. Transmission lines, if you follow them, because they're kind of considered more like a public domain in a lot of areas, other places are separate entities. So, most of the times you can traverse them. And I've taken my tractor and, back in the old days, what we used to call it riding the power lines. And, there'd always be a path, and we take my Jeep and just run the power lines in East Tennessee for miles, and it made for great Jeeping. Now there's actually a set of high transmission lines back behind my house, and it exposes a lot of ground. And so I use that then to actually prospect along the Georgia red clay, because all those power lines, they have to keep them trimmed, and they have to keep the grass cut and mowed. So it makes for a lot of accessible ground. So that is a great place to look. He goes on to say, oh, wow. That rhodochrosite specimen pendant is so awesomely nice. The Raven sure knows her stuff. Yeah, she does. She loves that stuff and knows it well. Okay, and again, I am going to say, we shall see what items I can purchase to help in the procurement of more money. Take care, Harry. P.S. I have an 8-claw ring that I have a good-sized ruby in, but I'm going to try and fit the 10mm star in by hook or by crook. LOL. It's often, especially in, did you say silver? If it's silver, yes, oftentimes you can expand them. And if you have a set of dapping dapping tools and a dapping block or dapping tools, you can put it on the mandrel and oftentimes use a round dapping head tool to expand not just the prongs, but really if there's a hole in the middle of it, especially in silver, the entire mounting. It's a good way to open it up and maybe just enough to be able to do what you need, and depending on how the mounting's made. I say you can probably get it to fit a 10mm. I want to say I just got my first order in this afternoon. This is Mr. Harry. Now that said, I had agreed to ship it via USPS, and they just couldn't seem to get the address to accept it there. So I did not have to pay extra for FedEx from GISN. But it came in today, and I am very impressed at how professional the material is shipped. In fact, I have never had a package as solid and safe. I love to hear that, because I will pass that on to Andy and to the individual packers of this show. So they often are the unsung heroes back there, and I certainly love to pass on compliments when they do a great job like that. Thank you. And now I will feel safe buying more items, which I have a ruby ring. The sterling claw 8-claw I think was made for a round cabochon anyhow, but I fit my bit that's 9mm over it. When I watched some other episodes of Star Ruby, actually slash Sapphire, purple red, and you measured it well, and it's 10mm, so I'm buying it and we'll send new pics after. Great job. I want to see. Mr. Anthony says, hello all. Great show. 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 13 seconds. Now, Mr. Anthony, when you get down to the seconds, I think that's being a little sarcastic. After the beautiful large cabochon of ruby and zoisite, Shawn is gone. In that short time, I was able to pick up the ruby and zoisite and black pargasite, just another specimen I'm not able to lay off of. Love them, and that is a nice one. Yes, it is and was, since you now have it. It was funny and ironic when one of the family said, we have a raven sighting. Because over the weekend, which will be a week from this reading, I spotted a raven, the bird, in my neighborhood, which is rare in Boston suburbs. Yes, it is. I sat atop a telephone pole. It sat atop a telephone pole and squawked at one of my dogs. But nice to see the lovely raven in the video ripping Shawn's coat off, as well as a rare sighting of the large black bird. Thanks to you and Harry for sharing about running the motor in reverse on the fasting machine. My machine I call Frankenstein is a scavenger delight. I replaced the manipulator, added a water pump, which sits in the tray with the water. It was free to me and it works. And that's all that matters. Free is the right price. Eyes down. It's Thursday and I noticed on YouTube full-length gem collectors. See? See? It got fixed. You got more than the 13 seconds, 7 minutes, and 1 hour. Trivia, zeolites, analcime, and cavensite. See, got Mr. Anthony too. Kyanite. See, you probably would have got it if you didn't do the 13 seconds. You would have remembered. Yeah, nope. Analcime and stilbite, and there's probably another one somewhere. But of course, cabin site got a lot of people out. Thought it was a zeolite. Nope, it's silicate. Okay, now that's it. There were so many of you that did not win that there wasn't many to choose from, especially when one of the winners who opted out already because it was, oh yeah, Miss Barbara. Now, so that said, we put only a couple in the hat. So the winners had a high chance of winning, and in this case, it was Miss Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. And wow, what a neat item that you're going to have fun with. Let's show Miss Cindy what she has won. This is a really, really wonderful collection of stones that I put together. You get this neat little suspension box, and look at that, just through the box. And moonstones, here's the other side. Turquoise, including that one, which is a Sleeping Beauty. But look at this, all these cool stones. There are rubies. Now, they're not in the description, so you just have to write this down real quick. So you're gonna see rubies, plus you're gonna have to be able to discern and figure out some things yourself, because there are citrines, but there's also some golden beryls, I believe, in this mix. So you line them up side by side, and the golden beryl should have a little bit higher brilliance to it, if that's the case. You have cabochons in here, emeralds. There's also a white zircon right there. If it's not a diamond, better not be. Tumbled rubies, I tumbled myself. You have a turquoise spider web, could be, well, I'll let you figure out. Put a hot pin to it and see if it is any kind of polymer plastic treatment to that. That won't be the case probably with that one, but test it for fun. Anyway, here's the other neat thing. Look at these moonstones. They are, look at that, cat's eye moonstone. So this is a, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful moonstone. A fun parcel that you will enjoy, because there's also some tourmaline, cabochon tourmalines in there. All kinds of goodies. 50 carats worth. All right, let me put these away and we'll get started with the show. I have not shown one of these in a while, but as I was rummaging through, well, all kinds of goodies for all of you each week that I get to do, I came across this beauty. And not only is it Burmese, it is a spinel, and it's a beautiful color. It is a good color, a great color. Solidly red, and there in other wavelengths of light actually has a little bit of a color change to it, which was kind of unique as well. That color with in a very secondary hint of orange is really a tell for it being a spinel without having to do further testing and looking at it. And you also, one thing that it won't have is usually, chevrons or the growth lines that you'll see in corundum or different shading of colors, zoning basically. So there's things you look for, and there's things that it doesn't have, and you get to spinel. If this was ruby, then the value of it would be multiples of the $32 is all I'm asking for this, which is really kind of ridiculous, being that it is spinel. I like it. It's native cut. It's native cut. It's still a nice, brilliant gem, and a excellent value indeed. If you end up liking that, maybe there's another one I saw at home that I'll bring in and offer as well. Okay, now, there were some of you that wanted to see some aquas in the month of March. Well, I'm just running a little behind on that. Let's showcase some aquamarines. The birthstone for March, of course, the birthstone for April is diamond. So may not quite have much to show you in that respect. But let's look at some more aqua crystals that you wanted. 1057122. 1057122. And start with this beauty. These are all going to be Namibian Orongo, which is a mountain full of all kinds of pegmatites. The Orongo Mountains really contain some stunning, stunning gems. And this is a real beauty in a crystal, and one of them from there. Look at that. Look at the symmetry for one thing, and how perfectly hexagonal that is. Then look at this. Yes, doubly, it's terminated on each end. So a wonderful piece, a wonderful piece. Look at the irises in this. This could be, I don't know, maybe some chloride in there. Not quite sure what that is, but of course, I leave a little bit for all of you to look at. Now look into these closely, because there could be anhydrous after discovering that one in that crystal the other day. The Orongo Mountains and the Brandenburg quartzes are known to have water bubbles, so you just never know. This is a really nice crystal. You can see the color and the size. Natural color. And the price. Well, you know, I bought aquas many, many, many years ago, and I got a batch from Gilgit, Pakistan, and I got a batch from Orongo. And so, yeah, you're getting the benefit of a really good buy all those years ago, and me passing that on now to you. I am looking at the price on here, and sometimes I wonder how I come up with these ridiculously inexpensive opportunities. A crystal like that, well, you know, if you went to a show and tried to find it for $38, I kid you not, $38, that is a sale price, and that is doing a favor from me to all of you. And the color that you're actually seeing, if it's the same color as I'm looking at, nails it exactly. It is spot on color-wise. Of course, here at Gem Shopping, they bought all kinds of new, super fancy TVs, cameras, big investment in production items. And so that is probably one of the things that you're getting to see is the benefit of all the HD stuff and improvements on that end. And I'm sure everybody at home has those new fancy TVs that really bring in the color properly as well. Okay, now let's continue on. Let's look at item number 1057022. 1057022. And see what. Let's see, 1057022. Wait till you see. Here's another beauty, and each one has its own, I guess, differences from one to the other, and making what would be a beautiful display would be to put several of these crystals just in a little group together. Look at this. Each one, look at this. See this? I love this one because it had this secondary little crystal growth right there. And I loved it. Look at that clarity of that one. And then a little grouping of crystals here. You have some etching here. Etching is often when another solution passes through and will dissolve away some of the crystal. Sometimes the crystal will regrow, as you can see, parts of it, and sometimes it regrows with other minerals, a little bit of feldspar looking like in there. But I love the little side crystal there. Again, look at these really carefully, tilt them back and forth, see if you can find any kind of movement by way of a bubble or other cool inclusion of minerals, etc. Another nice one, you can see in my hand roughly the size of it, so you can see, perfect shot there, really telling you not only the color, but the size as well, and the price. I have got these two where all of you should be getting in on them to have, buy 2 of them, buy 3 of them if we have 3. Let's see how many we wind up with featuring for you. How about this? $24? That really doesn't sound right. Less than $1 a carat for a crystal? Yeah, you guys will be taking these to $24 to a show and making some money on them. Yeah, that's an impossible deal right there to find. Let's look at the next item, which is 1056922. 1056922. And yeah, we're running a little aqua special here. Look at this if you have been waiting to look at not a short and stout, but a long and lean. Look at this one. Oh yeah, look at that. Now that is a beautiful crystal. And the size of it is really, well, imagine finding something like that. I go crazy. 1 3/4 inches long. Now, look, 45 carats. Look at the surface. The surface of this is a wonderful, wonderful, almost like skeletal formation. I see this with aquas, but you get this different kind of surface where you can see almost parts of the aqua grow at different rates than other parts. And it's not an etching, but it's a really attractive feeling to the surface. It even feels kind of unique. But look at the clarity to this. Look at that. Look at the top of that. Then over here, when you look at the crystal, you think, oh, well, part of it is missing. No, none of it is actually missing. If you catch the light on this crystal, you can look at it. See that? When it reflects all at the same time on the same plane, what you have, look at this, is a multitude of individual crystals. Look at that, growing up this side of it. So look at the termination. If you think something's missing, it's actually not. There's actually the 6 sides to this one crystal, if you right there. So there's, look at that little termination right there. So it's almost like a portion of the side started to grow here, but that unusual termination like that makes me almost think it's another crystal that came up. Look at the clarity at the top. Definitely facet grade. A beautiful color all the way around. This would make a stunning, stunning drop pendant. You have etching down here, additional mineralization here as well. And those of you with a diamond saw, you could, trim this off if you wanted. But I just like it. Look at this in my hand, and you can really get an idea just how large that is. Okay, so add that to your collection. $88. Only $88 on that beauty. And yeah, I decided to part with some more of these aquas. I thought since we had some requests and it was just a little bit late, but I thought, you know what? You're not going to have any chance to get these at any respectable price anyplace. This crystal at a show that you might see this at, or the internet, or wherever you want to else see it, you could expect $200, $300 easily. So yeah, don't miss out. Don't be shy. Even if you don't know what to do with it right now, it would just be a wonderful opportunity in your to have. Let's look at item 1056722. 1056722. And we have another one. Look at this one. Now, let's compare the two in case you're trying to make up your mind. Let's see. Both very close to the same size. So not to get confused, I will take this one away because I'm easily confused. Look at this crystal and look at this part. Look at the clarity. Look at that. Boy, that would fast. Oh, I am surprised the dealers did not keep this and cut a natural color aqua from here. And that would cut a several carat stone. And wow, that would be kind of cool. to cut an aqua out of a crystal that you got in the show, and I'd love to see it. This would be so, this would be one of those crystals that would be very tempting, even for me, to whether you keep it. Normally, I love just keeping things as a crystal, but this, let's go in a little closer, really makes me. I'd be tempted to actually cut that. I would. There's enough, you can see, nice clean area to work with. But if not, it's a beautiful, stunning crystal. Look at those irises, just to keep it as it is because of the clarity on the top. You can see beautiful irises all the way down. And again, look at all these other different additional crystallizations that grew at different rates and speeds along the side. And then if you look, see this is internal. You have feldspar as a internal mineral right there. And then down at this end, you have a little bit of black shoal tourmaline right there. Multiple crystals, as you can see. You can see their terminations right there as well. So this is actually a beautiful piece from either end. I really, look at the colors coming out of that. That is, and look at this in the hand again for size and beauty. Now, think of this. Think what you, in your mind, if you've been to any of the shows, what a dealer might have that for. They'd have it out, they'd have it displayed, and then they'd have their little, price tag up on it. Do you think that they'd only want $77 for it? Only $77? No, they wouldn't. I know. I have mastered those shows and actually have not had to go in a number of years. I mean, a huge number of years. When I realized that I sold 4,000 pieces in the last 5 years of the show, and I cannot tell that I sold 4,000 pieces. Wow, then I really didn't need to go to any more shows. I just needed to dig deeper and deeper into my inventory. And wait till you see some of the other goodies I keep finding. Wait till you see. So that's a beauty. Let me see if we have any more aquas for you so you can make your mind up as I go through here, covering them all. No, I think that's going to be our last aqua. So with that said, let me pause for a moment, put these others away, and I'll be right back. Okay, I broke out something I have not offered in a while. If for those of you who have been watching any length of time, you know that I'm sitting on a stash of high-grade lapis that I have used for different items over periods of time. You've seen me saw it up in slices and whatnot. Well, this is another one from the batch. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. If you think it's just kind of iron rust, no. It's actually, when we look in closer, you're going to see that this is actually, there you go, the pyrite. Look at that, the pyrite that is so commonly seen in lapis. Then the white, of course, is calcite. When you see the white like this, it will fluoresce. It'll often be a beautiful fluorescence. Lapis, by the definition, is actually a rock made up of 3 or more different minerals. So it is a rock. And the primary ingredients in it are calcite, pyrite, and then something called lapis lazuli is what we usually go by. A lot of people think that the other ingredient, primary ingredient that is blue, is lazarite. A lot of people think that it's lazarite and have thought it was lazarite for eons of time, right? Well, that is wrong. This is a beautiful, beautiful quality. When they grade out lapis in by way of letters, A, B, C, AA, AAA, this is really at the high end of the scale for color. Look at the beautiful banding of pyrite. A lot of people like pyrite. Now let me show you what it would actually look like polished. And so this is, I didn't spray any of this or anything. This is the way it just came out of the ground from the very famous Sari Song deposit that, look at this beautiful, beautiful banding of pyrite right there, that the best lapis is from. And okay, so let's get back to the lazarite part. The lazarite part is what people think that it was composed of, until, of course, modern equipment can and has determined that, and eventually lapis lazuli, the name, really refers not to a specific minerals anymore. It refers to a decorative stone. All right. The truth of the matter is there is no lazurite in lapis lazuli. Now, a lot of people think lazuli, the last name, that it would be lazuli, because all you'd be adding is a TE, right? Well, no, you have to keep them separate. Lazulite is the mineral, the denim blue jean color mineral that is found like at Graves Mountain. Is the most famous deposit for finding lazulite. This is lazurite. This is the mineral that is primary mineral that is supposed to be found in lapis, right? But it is not the case. The case is the fact that the blue, and the primary ingredient in this material is a sulfur-bearing aween. Yes, that word I love to say. Aween, very famous mineralogist, and plays such a big part in the naming and discovery of so many other minerals. He deserves to have at least one named after him. So, aween. Now, it's a sulfur-bearing aween. And so let me show you. Look at it. Look at this. This is why I say this is the really good stuff. This is the actual color that, see this and then see that? See the difference? Okay, let me just show you. Here. When you look at it wet, that's what it's going to look like when it's polished, because lapis takes a tremendous polish. It really takes a really nice high polish. And this piece could slice into a number, depending on which direction you saw it, make a number of different looks to it. I personally like this particular piece just as a specimen because of the pyrite. Now, if you want to keep this wet look like that, all you do is get some of that spray, like I use the canned polish. You can use a spray lacquer, a clear spray enamel, and any one of those will give you that wet look. Okay, that piece coming from my stash is only $24. Only $24. Now, let me show you a world-class piece, 1057522. I decided to part with one of the best ones I have left, and this is truly a world-class piece. Look at this. Look at this, world-class. A stunning piece of lapis with that incredible color, almost completely free of calcite, almost completely free of pyrite, and that's why this one is a world-class piece. And you can see all the way around it that it is almost all beautiful, beautiful lapis. There's not too many pieces you can grade as world-class. This one is world-class. And let me just show you, when we wet this, what you get on top of that. Look at that. Look at that color. All right, so this is when you talk about you can cut a cabochon and you have no pyrite, virtually no calcite, and it is that royal, rich, strong blue color. Then you know you're into the world-class quality of lapis. Now, these colors, this is your choice. So in lapis, in the really high end, it's kind of neat. This has both of them. You can get some of this neon blue in some, which some people prefer this. Some people prefer this. This color would be more of a traditional old world color. This color is more of a, I don't know, to me it's just more of a modern, brighter blue in the sense of it. But if I think of lapis and the carvings and the stones of antiquity, this is the color that I think of lapis. And specimens like this from Sarisang are getting so difficult to be able to get this kind of quality. Look at the beautiful pyrite up here. A lot of people really prefer and like pyrite. If you do like pyrite, the Chinese deposits have a lot of pyrite in it, along with the Chilean deposits have some beautiful lapis as well. but they're going to have more calcite and more pyrite. You won't find really, really high-end, clean, fantastic material often from those locations. But this one is a really striking piece. Now, you have to actually study these as to sawing them, as to which direction you want to saw them, because it can make a difference. These often are form in layers, and often they're seams. So there is a particular direction that this material forms, and often, and that can matter, the direction that you cut it. Now here you can see that I did take a slice at one point off of it, and you can see the interior of it still very, very rich in color, and is just a beautiful piece. So for display purposes, this is a stunning piece to have in a showcase. If you want to slice it up into all kinds of narrow slices, it saws very well. You've seen me show you how thin I have sawed some lapis sections, so thin that I could actually let light pass through them, which is very, very thin, because it's considered a very opaque, non-translucent type of material. This piece, world class, I have it at only $77. I laugh because I think of the value that this would cut in finished goods would be some large numbers, because lapis in the high grade, in other words, a little bit of calcite, or no calcite, and no pyrite, or even though a little bit of pyrite is okay and won't affect the price that much, but I mean pyrite that's not really even visible to the eye. But the pure stuff, free of anything really visible in that rich color, to me is the best lapis in that form. So when I think of the kind of value, just a piece for $77 would cut in lapis, that's a really good opportunity for someone to take advantage of. Now, let's look at item number 1057422. 1057422. Now, just so everyone knows, the piece you're looking at right now, that is the biggest and the nicest piece I'm going to showcase. So if you're waiting to see if there's something different or better and one of the best of, grab that piece right now. Here is another one I have to feature and show you. This shows you a little bit more how the seams, how it often will form these bars of material like this. And so oftentimes you get some of the growth lines that will be parallel to the formation of it. Now, all of these I left completely natural. This is the way it came out of the ground. And there's often other minerals that are associated with this material, including some rather unusual ones, including this greenish material here, which I was trying to remember what one of them was, and I think it really might belong to the Mariolite family. I think it also was fluorescent. So this would be one to check out and see what kind of fun you could have with this material. I did not, yeah, look at the reflection of that. I did not go into the closet with it, but I have a feeling that it's a fluorescent material. But look at, okay, here is that blue that I was talking to you about. All right, let me show you the differences in the blue. Okay, see, you have this color blue, and then you have this lighter, more neon kind of blue. And those are really the two colors I really like. And but again, I think the darker blue is more of the traditional. And look at this. So once you get past the skin, see the skin on the outside of this, when you see that calcite, then you know that you are at the outside of the seam, okay? So it's not like this was broken off. This is broken off of what would have been another piece, but this would have been the top or bottom of it, as you can see this side as well when you see that. So you're getting the top and bottom of the growth of the seam, and the goodies inside. Wow. It's kind of neat because it's kind of like some of the, well, a lot of the jade. A lot of the jade will, like nephrite and jadeite, over time, if it's exposed to elements, it will oxidize and develop what's called a rind on the outside of it. And that's where you get some of your other colors, your oranges, some of your reds, some of your white. You'll get that in the rind area of it, and it's only when you get past that do you get into some of the actual other colors that you expect to be found in jadeite and nephrite. But it's the surface oxidation. So in this case, it's kind of a calcite that'll form to know that you are on the outside of the piece. So that again is impressive. If you like to keep that look, again, you can just spray it, and that only $36. Only $36 on that one. Let me see if there was any others I was parting with before we get to the next very cool item. Nope. Let me tuck that one away. I'll be right back. What a treat. I don't know if I've shown 2 or 3, no more than 4 of any size motivites in 5 years of doing this podcast. Now, over the course of the 14 years I've had a show here at Gem Shopping, a number of years ago in the live show, we had a tremendous selection of moldavite. And but it just goes to show you the difference in time as it gets absorbed into the market. The primary area that they were collecting these was turned into, I guess, kind of like a national park, and collecting was completely forbidden. Now, let me explain something about moldavite. And in buying it, you can and may see moldavite being offered and it says Besanitsa. Well, in general, in the old days, a Besanitsa moldavite was a particular moldavite that was in the strewn field. So what happened was 15 million years ago, a large meteor struck Bavaria, southern Germany, and sent up a huge detritus, amount of detritus. And the area that it hit was a very sandy, silica-laden area. So of course, the impact of this meteor was equivalent to 1.8 million Hiroshima bombs. Hiroshima atomic bombs. 1.8 million of atomic bombs. Yes, that's the energy released with the impact. It sent material 280 miles downrange. So they figured out the angle and the direction that it came from. So the material, the tektites, which was formed from the impact of the meteorite hitting the silica, ejecting it up into the outer atmosphere, and it raining back down as a tektite, what's called a tektite. Now, a lot of interesting things occurred with this particular impact crater, and it's known as the pretty much they just call it the Reese crater, but Nordlinger Reese is another name for it. And the material that came down, some of it came down and struck what was a pond area, a water area, and it created these unusual formations. And this happened to be in the area of Besenica, what is now the Czech Republic. So this particular formation got to be known as a Besenica moldavite, but in reality now, Besenica is considered a place, not a particular formation of moldavite. So you're going to see a lot of moldavites being sold as Besenica moldavites, when the reality of it, yes, they're from Besenica, which is an area, but they're not the moldavite that decades ago I grew up. When I heard the word of Besenica moldavite, it was a particular formation that had these kind of like serrated edges. And you got to look it up to see the formations and see enough of them to know whether you have a true Besenica one that has struck the water, instead of just one in the area and called a Besenica because it's a particular area geographically that it was found in. Here's the other amazing thing. This is, let me take this out. So it's in, you can see it's in this, you get the suspension case with it. This is a really nice high quality piece out of my own personal collection, because nothing would need to be done to this. It just can be drilled and made into a pendant just as it is. Look at that classic quality, classic surface formation. And the other thing that, oh, look at that. You know how I love things to be able to stand on their own. How cute. That is really cool, actually. Okay, let me show you. One of the things you look for to determine a genuine Besenica is bubbles, just like you find in blowing glass. And you almost want to see those to know that you're getting a genuine one. The other thing you look for are these little swirl lines of, just like you see in glass as well, blown glass, little swirls in the formation. Now, a lot of times, depending on the surface of it, you may not be able to see that. You'll be able to see the bubbles under magnification. But there we go. You can really look inside it now. And it's those two things to know that you have a genuine, and the surface of them, because no one can really duplicate that look when you have seen enough moldavites. And the color of moldavites run in a very narrow, thin range of colors. Thank you, sir. And they should be in that range of colors. Thank you. Now, this is, again, like I said, a really nice size. You can see it in my hand. It has a very attractive shape to be able to work with very easily. Now, here is a really fascinating fact that many people don't know. We're getting that, but I'll go ahead and tell you right now so everyone can jump on it. It's only going to be $68. Only $68 for that. Now, let me tell you what the most fascinating thing really about the impact of this particular meteor. Not only did it hit a sand-rich area that allowed so many of these to be found and formed, but the impact also hit an area that was rich in graphite. Graphite. Now, follow what I'm saying here. I should end it right there and make a trivia question from it. What formed from the impact of the meteor with a deposit of graphite in the Nordingen Reese crater? The answer would be, how about this? It formed 150,000 pounds of diamonds. 150,000 pounds of diamonds from the impact. What is graphite? Pure carbon. The heat and pressure. The only way diamonds are formed is from deep within the earth, where is the only place you can get that heat and pressure. And then they're brought to the surface through volcanic and magmatic interaction. And that's how and why, and the only reason why we have diamonds at the surface is because they're brought up from deep below where those pressures are developed and the heat is enough. The only surface formed diamonds have to be formed from heat and pressure, tremendous heat and pressure at the surface. The only thing that can do that is the impact of a meteor. All the buildings and the stone that they are made out of in that entire geographic area, the old buildings are made from blocks that have nothing but diamonds in them. Here's the issue. All of the diamonds are, and to me, this is not that small, but they're 1/5 of a millimeter or smaller. 1/5 of a millimeter. Now, you know, to an inch, there's 25 millimeters, right? So basically, if you would have to line up 125 of these diamonds in a row to get to 1 inch long. So that's, or more, 125 or more. But you know, that's not that many. To me, I've set a diamond that has been as small as 1/3 of a millimeter. So we're talking about 1/5 of a millimeter. Now, granted, that's small, but with a 10 power loop, I would be able to see that diamond in the building blocks, in the stone. It would be a rough diamond, but they're there. 150,000 pounds of them were generated. I think that's fascinating. I would give anything to have a building block, one of the blocks of stone, that would have these diamonds in it. And to think of the amount, and that's what's so neat about geology. It is because the impact of, there was a graphite deposit, just so happened to be, and boom, instant diamonds, 150,000 pounds of them. That's so cool. That makes me want to go there just to go bring back some building blocks. Some people's houses might be falling down. He goes, hey, what happened to that tourist? All their houses fell down after he left. Ah, yes. The guy's trying to run away. We put him in the middle there. All right. Only $68. That's a jewel. No, I don't have another one. That's it. That's the motivite for the day. That is the motivite for the day. Now, all the other information, I could just get so excited about that because 15 million years ago, and in the time of geology, that's not that long ago of course, the impact of one that size, it created, still now, from the top of the rim to the lowest part of the depression, it's 490 feet difference. And there's a slight rise. You can see it with satellite photos of where it struck, minimally by using particular satellites and LiDAR. You can see it better now than in ages past. But the diamond connection is something new. I thought that was really fascinating. So adds a whole nother element to it. All right, beautiful moldavite at a really excellent price for moldavite. Now this next one is another rarity, item 105-6222. 105-6222. And here is the rarest color of this mineral. The rarest color it comes in. Look at that. Look at that. Now, you say the rarest color? Yes, because fluorite in its purest form, just like aluminum oxide, ruby and sapphire in its purest form, is colorless. Just like tourmaline, acroite is colorless. Just like beryl, it's colorless in its form. It's because they're allochromatic. In other words, their colors are derived from impurities. And that's how you get the other colors of these minerals and gems. Because in their purest form, when they are without the impurities, many of them are colorless, including fluorite. Look at this. Look at these perfect blocky cubes. Now, there's something else interesting about these. They technically really could be phantoms, because if you see the interior of them, which is very easy to do, look at this. You have a, great job there, Dave. You have a frosted kind of formation on the inside of them, and then a clear area that has, there you go, formed all the way around each crystal. But each crystal is like a frosted ice cube to start with, and then a clear growth of fluorite formed around that section. You have some beautiful blocks that have intergrown with each other. Here is the back side of it. I'm looking, probably looks like some feldspar maybe there. And this could be cleaned up if you wanted to. Take some time, but look at that. Look at that. That's a real rarity in the fluorite world, to have no color. You have muscovite. There we go. There's the muscovite, mica. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Perfect blocks, excellent, damage-free for the most part. Beautiful formation. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And check this out, the price. Oh, let me tell you something. I had a note on this, and it was a lot more expensive, and I didn't sell it. I don't know what happened, but I had a note that there was an anhydride. There was even, I took the little mark away. There was even a mark I had made as to where the anhydride, in other words, the water bubble, was. Let me see if I can roughly find it. And guess what? So I went to look for it again in the spot I had marked, and I could not find it. I could not find the water bubble. And I'm just looking to see if I can remember where that spot was. Now, whether the water bubble moved to another area or I don't know. I don't know how it could have dried up, but I placed it in water for days to see if I could rehydrate the bubble, if there was some kind of other entrance to it, is where, because you have to watch for that, to make sure that, your water bubble doesn't dry out. But it didn't come back. It didn't come back. So where did it go? I don't know. So basically I had to take $100 off the price and mark it off. I don't know exactly where it was. I don't want to lead you astray, but there was at one point an anhydride. That's all I have to say. And an anhydride in the fluorite would make a huge difference in the value. Price on this right now is only $58. Only $58. And yeah, that's a great opportunity. I'm trying to give you a hint as to where I was trying to think. I had marked this. I should have left a little mark on there, but I thought, well, maybe you would think it wouldn't come off or something. Hold on, it's coming back to me. I had looked at it so many times. I don't know, maybe over here somewhere. I don't know. Look all around it. That bubble went somewhere, and you never know. It's kind of like a leak in your house. It can take a long path from a long ways away from where it originally was. So that water bubble may have traveled somewhere else in it. I was only looking around the little area that I had marked. So I don't even want to throw you off in a different area because it could be lurking there somewhere. And then you've hit the big time for buying a quarter for a nickel by way of value. All right, yeah, for only $58. That's a excellent opportunity. Let's look at item number 1056322. 1056322. Oh, Raven has missed so much when she's gone because she is such a big help. And I get to show so many more things with and stay organized. Okay, look at this beauty. And isn't nature amazing? Look at dioptase. Okay, now dioptase, that color, that is the color it is when, and always is. That's the color it's supposed to be. So it is a copper silicate. And of course, the copper having a whole lot to do with the incredible color of the green. Dioptase also, if you get big enough crystals, it can be faceted, even though I have not seen much by way of faceted dioptase. It does exist, and there has been pieces that have been crystals big enough that have been faceted. Now, I'm just tucking this beautiful fluoride away. Now, this is an Altan Tayub. I'm not sure exactly how it's Kazakhstan word, how the pronunciation is, but Altan Tayub dioptase. Often calcite is involved with these, and so I put the black light to this, and there was a little bit of a reddish glow to it. So I'm thinking that a good bit of this is a calcite type of matrix. This is just a fun, affordable. Dioptase is never inexpensive, but this piece is an affordable size for someone to add it to their collection, and I made it that way. Even though something this big could still be a lot, but I made it affordable. $24 on that. Only $24 on that, and a really good value. A really good value, a great look, and one of the minerals that you just have to have in your collection, only because that color is one of those colors that is just really, really striking and so attractive that it just makes you want to have it. I don't know. It's just draws me to certain colors. That's one of those ones, indeed, that does that. Now, let me show you another fun, inexpensive piece. Item 1056822. 1056822. Now, also, if some of you want to see other questions and answers, there is where the How It's Done series of episodes, there are also an area there where people can ask questions. Now, I get the questions through marketing, and then so I just answered like 5 this past week, and there were some great questions that they had. So just want to let you know to go there and look for some question and answers, because a lot of the people are jewelers or miners or gem collectors or in the business that ask the questions, and they relate to the 30 different episodes of the How It's Done series that I did under Asif's direction and production. and highly valuable information. And you get to see me actually put my hands where my mouth is and get to see me do the work and narrate exactly what I'm doing on every project you could imagine you would ever have done by a goldsmith. We cover it all. It's really a fascinating lessons to be able to like I said, if you watched all 30, I think you should be given a certificate of completion for the amount that you would learn from it. This is Reynolds County, Missouri. This is actually, these were actually all done over the years that you've seen. Every piece by a wonderful lady named Dosha, and she dug all of these herself. And I bought her entire huge collection at an incredible value. Well, not all of her stuff, because she's been mining for years, but this one big large batch that that price was priced right. So I've been working from that batch. That's why I can offer this piece. Look at this, pagoda calcite. Pagoda calcite. Pagoda calcite is a calcite that forms like you would think in the shape of a pagoda, like you see in the Japanese pagoda. After my son was stationed in Japan for a year and a half, he sent me plenty of pictures of the real thing, of real pagodas. But pagodas, as the way they build a house, look very much like this, and layered and gross that taper upwards. Look at that. This has a perfect triangular termination. Then you can see you have druzy quartz. Druzy quartz, little, you can see the little crystals there. And when you can see the, where they were attached to, and the rim of the quartz, often over calcite or another material, these often will have, look at that, beautiful fluorescence to them as well. This piece, this is how fun I can make this. And really, I'm sure, a lot more money it's worth, but it doesn't matter. I want to make everything, like I always do, $9. I kid you not, $9. So this is a great item to just throw in or give a gift to someone else, because this is made in America. Made in America, only $9. And, Reynolds County, Missouri, famous for these incredible formations of calcite and druzy quartz that you've seen. And, to get something that looks, this alone, perfect pagoda, calcite pagoda for $9 is really $9 is an exceptional value for the look. But it also self-displays really well. Yeah, only $9. Something for everybody, indeed. Now, we're going to get to some really fun stuff here. I better get going. But first, let me cover a couple more items I have. This next one, item 1057222. 1057222. This is a barite that I have to, I guess, stand corrected, but it's not my fault. Can you repeat that number? Yes, sir. 1057222. 7222. These blue barites were discovered not that many years ago. And they were found and reported to be found from an area that is, it's originally was reported to be from a place called the Sid Lawson Mine. 1057222. And I have to correct it now, because now in all the publications, they're saying that the true location is from a place called Jebel Huichain. Well, now I've traveled Morocco, and there's Berber spoken there, there's French spoken there, there's Arabic spoken there. There's like 5 languages spoken throughout Morocco. So this one sounds a little bit more French. Jebel, Ouichane. In the mine in the Nador province, same province. Barium sulfate. The word barite is from a Greek word for heavy, for the unusual weight, for the fact that it's a non-metallic mineral. And it is heavy. There is a huge specific gravity to barite. It's 4.5 specific gravity. You wouldn't think it, but it is very heavy. Now, as we look close, this is what it is so well known for. Look at these layered crystal growths. That is striking. And the color blue, when these first came out, if I would not have waited and bought a batch of them, a larger amount, I would not be able to offer this for the price I'm going to offer it for. This individual specimen would have been, I don't know, my cost $200 or $300 originally, $200 or $300. But now I am offering this probably still less than what I could replace it for now, for only $58. That's a definite sale price on this, $58. Barite has a hardness of 3. It's spelled in the United States with an I, but it's really more so should be spelled with a Y, B-A-R-Y-T-E. It has a, again, it's soft, hardness of 3. Now, here's this neat thing that Dave's giving you a tour. If you look closely, there is beautiful barite crystals that are actually hidden underneath this limonite. Look at this. See what I'm talking about? You don't even see them until you see them. And, you know, barite can withstand a lot of different type of acids. If they figured out an acid to remove the limonite, that'd be pretty neat. That'd be pretty cool, because you can see what it might look like. I don't know. It'd be fun to play with a little area and see what might work and what may not work. But in general, if you have a specimen, most all of them will have some type of limonite on them, even the high-end specimens, because sometimes it's just not worth trying to remove it. Some of the limonite actually is arborescent. It grows and looks very kind of dendritic. Now, the main thing is to have a specimen with one very attractive spray of visible barites, blue barites. And this one has exactly that formation, as you can see. Look at that. That's what you want. That's all you need, is to have one wonderful spray. You have so many other hidden barites in here. It's kind of like some of the Mayan temples that in southern Mexico, which I used to live in Mexico and traveled it extensively. And they're still, of course, discovering temples now. When you peel back the forest, or using lidar to map out the high and low areas in the jungle from flying over there, they're discovering so many more civilizations, cities in that part of Mexico than they ever thought imaginable. Look at that area right there. And that's what I think of this. It's like the jungle needs to be removed on this to see what really lies beneath. So this is a really attractive piece for only $58. It's really one of my nicer individual ones that I have with really good color still. So I really recommend, if you really want a nice barite, to get in on that specimen. Again, because the price is considerably more by way of the value. It's only because I had bought, and well, it's one of the dealers, Moroccan dealers I've worked with for a long time, and got it down to a really good value. All right, wait till you see what I have for you next. This is a treat. If you haven't seen it, it's now on sale for, I guess I've been enjoying it now for a number of years since I've ever shown it. Let's look at item 1056422. 1056422. You're not going to believe what I'm getting ready to show you. This is a stunning carving. And yes, that is exactly the color. Blue sapphire. That is a frog on a lily pad with some stunning sapphire blue colors. And there's so much to look at on this. We're going to take a minute to look at this because guess what? There's a star and it is right on the nose. Look at this. Now, you have to look at it with the right light, and the sunlight is the best. But when we turn this, you can see the legs. You can see the legs as we rotate it. You can see 3 legs right down here. And as we tilt it back, you can see the legs on the front part of the nose. We'll tilt it this way, and you'll get to see legs going to the back side. Look at that. There you go. Look at those. There, isn't that amazing? Now that is a prince just waiting for that kiss to turn that star into the your long-awaited handsome prince. This is amazing that they were able to orient and carve it so it did that. It had to be intentional. Let me show you why. I was only discovered this the other day playing with it, and that's what I do. I literally get these things out and play with it. You know what? There's such a thing as trapezies in not only just emeralds. You know, trapezies are the 6 rays of carbon found in emeralds, named after a sugarcane grinding wheel, trapezie. Now, there's trapezie, in other words, those 6 rays, they've been found in tourmalines, and they've been also found in corundum, ruby and sapphire. Now, if you look at this carefully, you can count. Let's go out a little bit. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 black-looking legs. Here is something else. If I tilt this at the correct angle, and I'll find it in just a moment, there we go. You're going to see, let's see, you're going to see the rutile, the chatoyancy of a 6-legged star on this. There we go. There we go. Let me get my pointer out. All has to do with the right angle at the right. There we go. Look at that. So you see how dark and black that is? Turn it this way and look at the silver sheen of the star. Look at that. And if you consider the middle part of the bottom of this lily pad as the center of the crystal that they were working with, it corresponds, and as I keep turning this, you'll see just how well defined. Look at that. Look at that. How defined that asterism effect actually is. If you look and consider this the middle part and take it right up above, you're going to realize that that's where it emanates from. That rutilated formation carries through right there all the way to right here. That's what we're looking at, an extension of that 6-ray star carried over to the top of this frog. All right, that's the fun part of the frog, I think. But really, here, let me get out. Here is some of the money. The money. Let me show you the money, and that's in the color. That's in the color, and this piece is such a beautiful piece of corundum that, look at this, we can only really get the light, look at that, to shine through the thinner areas, which is the edge of the lily pad. Now, as I keep going around the edge, you'll see different colors of blue, and I even saw, let's see, keep going here, if I can find the area of lavender. Oh, there we go. There is some of the lavender I saw. Look at that incredible blue. And a little bit of a, look at that. That's a great color. There we go. There's a little bit more of the purple lavender colors. And it just shows you also the translucency. Oh, look at that purple right there. Wow. That's gorgeous. Now let me just shine this by itself on this guy to give you another type of look. Carry this back a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. Thank you, sir. To think of the size, look at that. The size of the piece of rough. It's 354 carats now. And that's a lot of sapphire. That is a lot of sapphire. Look at the chatoyancy. Look at all the asterism as we rotate that. You can see it. Look at these areas that it reflects off of as well. Look at that. And yet when we look right at it, they look black until we turn them, and then you get to see that movement. You can basically see the 6 legs coming from it. It's the darker area with the blue of the sapphire coming in between. What a carving that is. I have this at a price. This is the price. I've had this for so many years, I can't even remember. I have this now at a price. Look at the star on that nose. That is so cool. Anyway, it'll never be less than this, and it actually has never been offered at this price. This is one of those things. I've enjoyed it. It's time for me to pass it on. So many good things in the world regarding frogs. They are again one of those transformational creatures. They start. You know what? The girls in the back. I have a big trash can that fills up with water just by chance. Do you think they'd let me dump that water out when the mosquito larvae are all swimming in it and everything? It's a big trash barrel I use for the better quality rocks that come off the sluice from my mining, right? Okay, so I saved those rocks in the bottom. Well, the girls, when it got full of water, would not let me dump it out. I said, there's nothing but mosquito larvae. No, but there's tadpoles. There's little baby tadpoles living in it. We can't dump the tadpoles out. And I swear, this is the way they sound. Tadpoles out. I said, yeah, but the tadpoles aren't big enough to eat the mosquito larvae. It didn't matter. Tadpoles won. But they did get bigger. They grew their little feet. The girls had to put little lily pad looking leaves on top. And sure enough, if they didn't crawl up on the edges of it, it was a very, I lost that battle, lost that one. And they raised their 1,000 tadpoles. And I probably got as many mosquito bites out of it, but that's all right. That's all right. I was in the business of raising frogs. Couldn't even eat their legs either, which I happen to like. Anyway, another story. All right, $288. $288. 80 cents a carat. $288. I mean, come on. I can't even offer this for $1 a carat. I could, but I want to sell it. I want to sell it $288. I have enjoyed it. It is a conversation piece. Look at that. I wish I could see this in the sun right now. I mean, wow. That's a sapphire. That's a sapphire. September birthstone and a lucky frog indeed. I got good vibes from it. You can enjoy it too. I have something that's going to rock your world now. Let's do this. Save some of the best for last, even though I have so much more to do. Okay, 105-5722. 105-5722. Okay, I decided out of the kindness of my heart that I was going to share, and I'm going to do it, more of the Japanese garnets. No limits to purchasing, even though, someone might be tempted to buy them all. Do save some for some other people. But, wow, do I have some specials we're going to do. I wanted to make sure that everybody could afford one of the rarest garnets there is on the planet. I made an amazing purchase many years ago, and I was being, I think, just overly selfish in not sharing them. All right. Wow. Okay. So let's start with this. Yeah, we're going to show some more than this. Okay. They all come in these suspension boxes. Let's just really quickly look. Now, you know, I look at this now. I was thinking that these were like a step below in quality. And the way I originally graded them out, they were. The way I look at them now, look at that. They don't look like a step below in quality at all. Wow, look at that. Well, it makes me right now want to change the prices I put on them. But I'm including 2 in each one, just so I wasn't selling something that was so inexpensive. Look at these. This is, again, for people that want to, like Harry or Mr. Anthony, if want to practice faceting on this material. This is the kind of quality that, only that some of the crystalline shape is affected. As far as the iridescence, no, it's there. Look at this. And this would be great pieces to also facet. So this particular parcel, both stones, $48. Only $48. That is less than $7 a carat, even though that's kind of really not the way they're always figured. If you go, and as someone said the other week, they are as rare as hen's teeth. They are. I actually tried to find some on the internet, and all I found was some stones less than a carat, and they were $79 a piece. $79 a piece. I actually had some things on my phone I was going to show you, but it's no point. Go look yourself. You go look for yourself and see what you can find. Look at that and see what you're paying. You're looking at crystals here that 2 stones are 3.5 carats each. They're huge. In the world of this garnet, that they are, the mine's been closed since '05. People have gotten in huge amount of trouble in jail time by trespassing, trying to get to this material. It wasn't me, but I can understand the desire. This is my garnet collection. You know, since my birthstone, it's one of the best buys I have ever made. And this was a long time ago. I was smart once in my life to do that and get in on them when I did. And, you know, the other day I was thinking, it's like, you know, Shawn, you could offer more. And even though, and I could charge so much more for these, or sell them in a different venue or online, but no. You guys are my family. I want all of you to get in on them. 105-5822. 105-5822. This is another parcel of 2 crystals to each parcel. Look at these. Wow. And I was looking at everything from the New Mexico androdites to the Stanley Butte androdites to the Mexican, not New Mexico, but New Mexico and Arizona. Each have their androdites. Nothing like these for iridescence. They may have a little bit of green or yellow on them, but there is no rainbow to look at these. How in the world did I classify these as another quality? I must have just gone on crystal shape, but I'm telling you what, they do not lack for iridescence in any way. Wow. They may not be full dodecahedrons, but neither were the others. I don't know. You know, this is, again, they're all roughly 7.5 to 8. Look at that one, to 8.5 to 9 millimeters, somewhere in that range. This parcel, 7 carat total weight, $48. $48. They're all, I think, $48 a parcel. We'll look. But look at that shape. Look at that. Look, that is, how can it not be one of the most beautiful garnets there ever is? The only other garnet, it's really beautiful is like the mantoid garnets, the green ones, the Russian ones. Look at that. But I don't even know if they're as pretty as these. I love that rainbow iridescence on them like that. Just wow. All right, let me keep these organized real quick. Okay, next parcel. I have item number 105-6122. 105-6122. This is another treat that I am, and I tell you what, if I went through the effort to inventory all these in, I want to see every single one of them sold, or else I am going to be disappointed and feel like I had wasted my time in offering y'all such a deal. Let's see. These, same price, $48. I tell you that straight away. Look at this. Okay, so they're all right and around the 7 carat total weight. So it's not a weight thing that you're looking at. And I made them what I thought was about equal value. Even though now looking at these, I see no reason why they were even in a bag that I had marked as a different quality range. So I priced them as that. But now looking at them, I'm not sure why, because there's not a single one of them that still is not simply striking. Look at that. Look at that. Each one offers a view, a iridescence, a play of color like no other. Look at that. I hadn't actually seen that kind of look in any of the others. So, yeah. Just, oh, you wonder how nature just does that. So, that's why garnet, to have a birthstone, to me, the Garnet family has got to be probably really one of the best families of gems to work with, because no treatments, all natural, and there's such different looks in each batch that you get. All right, let's look at item number 105-6022. 105-6022. Again, they are as rare as hen's teeth, and I probably truly have, I am not kidding you, the largest selection. I dare say, I know in the state, I know in the Southeast, maybe in close to the country. I mean, I'm top 5. I don't know. I am up there by way of what I have in these Japanese garnets, and they are so rare. It's one of the best, smartest things I've ever done. Look at these. Here is 2 more. Price on these 2, $48 for the 2. $48. Have a little bit different dimensions, but you can see the weight, 673. Look at that. Look at those colors. That would be a really good one to facet. It's got that large top face to work with, has enough depth. But then again, it's always, to cut into a beautiful crystal is always difficult to do. Look at it. Wow, look at that. See what I mean? Just each little different angle brings another gasp. I have not seen that rich of a blue, purplish color in any of the others. Not that big of an area. That would take a, wow. Yeah, that's one of the, I had not seen that intensity. That alone should make that one be set apart, and I should have kept it for that one reflection of color. Look at that face. Hold on, look at that. Yeah, there is no other androdites in the world from any location that grabs some. That's why these are as rare as hen's teeth. They are as probably shouldn't even done that, but no. It's one of those things that I really just want to share, and I'm sharing them at such a great value, $48. Wow. Okay, one last one, and it's a single. It's not a double. 105-5922. 105-5922. And this one being a single, but let's see, it's got a nice weight to it. Let's check it out. Look at that nice big crystal. Oh, yes, this one. when you look at it from that angle, look at that. That is a perfect four-sided termination to that. Look at that. In every one of those faces, oh, look at the colors on that. That's a multicolor. You can see the different color at the rim versus the center. Then you have that green there. You have that rich yellowish green there. And what is that color? Wow, look at that. That looks like a, I don't know, kind of like an aurora borealis. Look at that perfect diamond shaped face to that. And then all those other little faces down here, you're going to get little reflections of color out of. Just a stunning single crystal, and price on the single one is, here's a bargain for you, $38. And it's over a 5-carat single crystal. And there's also sold by weight. The bigger crystals go way up in price. Look at the colors in this one. And for this to be over 5 carats and only $38, there are people that are just saying, you know, seeing this, the dealers would definitely buy every one of these if they watch this show. So I hope that's not the case, because they certainly would. And in their markets and where they sell them, like on the internet, they could make multiples of what look at that, of what I'm asking for these. They show so well. They show so very well. Take advantage right there. Now, let's see. Clock is ticking down, but we have a few moments left with you. And let me show you another. This is Made in America collection. Item number, let's see if I can read that, 933219. 933219. And this is cabinet quality, cabinet size, literally, and a wonderful cabinet quality. It's a fantastic specimen from, of course, Reynolds, Missouri. And most all these came from the Sweetwater mine, which is the most famous mine for it. Now, fluorescence most always happens with calcite, including this one. And as we come in closer, you're going to see you have this very cool pagoda, which you now have seen, formation growth of calcite here. But then look at this formation over here. Here you have your scalenahedron crystals, which are your dogtooth calcite crystals. You can see dogtooth. There we go. There's the angle coming up there. Very sharp to the finger across there. Then you have your druzy quartz all speckled about, and with a lot of magnification, you can actually see the botryoidal formation to these marcasites. Marcasite being a iron oxide, along with so many other iron oxides, that has often many other polymorphs, as in, you know, everything from hematite, goethite, limonite, better known as rust as well. Look at this. Then you have, I just noticed some additional crystallization here. And then look at the bottom. Now, what I was thinking is this, you could actually take some slices off of if you wanted. It's always be interesting on some of the patterns like this, but it's too close to those other crystals, so probably wouldn't. But look at the back of that. This is where, if there's any pockets, they often fill up with some other type of formation. But I have such a great price on this for something made in America. I have a price on this guy of what is it? $48 as well. $48 as well. And that's a big look. And the neat thing is, it's coming straight from the person that mined it, Dosha. And many years ago, they came, all those that I've had over the years. I literally, the reason I'm showing it today while Raven is gone, because she would recognize it. I literally took it off the shelf, had to rearrange, I'm whispering like she's here, rearrange the items on the shelf to cover up the dusted area that it revealed around it. And so I have to do sneaky things like that, try and it won't matter. She'll say, where's my name? Oh boy. All right. Now, with the few moments we have, never enough time, but I want to show you item number 1049722. 1049722. This is that striking vanadinite specimen. Look at that. Look at that. Right from my own collection. World class quality pieces come from this area. The vanadinites coming from this deposit in Meknes are some of the finest there are. Vanadinite is lead chloride vanadate. Now there's chlorine in the composition, and what you want are these big, perfect hexagons like that. Look at the thickness to them as well. And then on looking at it from the other direction, so many of these have, I don't know whether it's a coating or an oxidation in one particular direction. But nevertheless, it makes it still, to me, attractive in its own right because it has two complete different looks. And I would not be surprised if there isn't some other mineralization amongst the backside of that. Size matters when it comes to the vanadinites, and those are big crystals. Price on this one, you're gonna love it. This is as least expensive as it's ever gonna be. $58. Only $58 on that. And to get that big of a look in that kind of quality material, that's a real jewel. A real jewel. Now, let me show you item 1049922. 1049922. This is made in America and made not too far from these here parts. The Jones Mine. The more I learn and study about the Jones Mine, the more impressed I am. And it is in an area they call their zirconia belt of North Carolina. And there is some stunning specimens. For one thing, you can see moonstones all over this, and you can see that reflection right off that particular crystal right there. I asked Dave if he's gotten his moonstone started tumbling yet. He said no. I told him he better. Look at that. That's the money shot right there. Look at that perfect crystal termination of the zircon that area is known for. This mine closed decades ago. The specimens coming from there, I think I own most of them. Seriously, I have never seen a bigger collection of Jones Mine specimens than what I have. And now, if you guys didn't buy this one, then I'm not so sure you want the unusual, the unique, the one of a kind, the made in America type stuff. Look at this. These are crystals all over it. Part of me would be tempted to want to break it open. Looks like some epidote even, but that might need to be investigated a little bit closer, including some of these other areas. And that's what's fun with some of these, is don't let me do all the identification do some of it yourself. There's the big crystal though, that is makes it worth it all, but there's a lot of others. Look at that. Look at that one present as well. All right, price on this, I can't imagine if there was a show in North Carolina, if I took my Jones mine, up, like say the Asheville show, they would be going crazy to get this kind of material. There's nothing else like it. You look at these and someone like me says, oh, those are Jones mine zircons. Yeah, there are not zircons in the United States, especially in the eastern United States, to be found much at all. So, yeah, price on this, believe it or not, how about this? $54. Only $54. And it's one of those deals that's not even doing it justice. Not doing it justice. Okay, we got the last item coming up before we do trivia. And let me see. Oh, here, this. I cannot believe it. Item number 104-4422. You could take the wood off of this and you could just use the nephrite for cutting material and come out. I mean, it's, look at the quality. That is one of the coolest. Well, you could keep letters in here, but business card holders. But you could put all kinds of stuff just, in there. Put your bills in there. Yeah, put your bills you can't pay in a jade bill holder. I actually knew this girl, and she did. She had this over $100 holder for the bills that she could not pay. And it was a joke. It was a joke. We ended up laughing about it all the time. She goes, I just can't pay my bills. And yeah. Anyway, that's what I think of when I see this. You can be the one with the jade holder that holds the bills that you can't pay. Colombian beautiful nephrite, business card holder, or whatever you want it to be. Look at that quality. Look at that. That's the good stuff. And it's coming, of course, from the friends of mine that actually have 3 claims. Look at that. It's even intentionally angled like that, so your business card lays just perfectly. If you don't like it like that, there you go. It's worth it for the jade itself. Price on this, last item of the show, so I'm going to make it right. Make it only, here, I'm going to do something. I'm going to sale price it at such a big discount. Let's see if anybody is interested at all, because I know I'll never show it again if you don't take it at this price. $48. $48. And that's less in the end than what I paid for it. Truly. $48. And with that, we'll be back with the trivia. All right. Now, I had a lot of fun. Anytime you see that kind of energy in me, everything's working well up here. And yeah, so I am going to get everything fixed one part at a time, right? Kind of like talking about Dave's car. So I told him just get a pickup truck next time, That's what Georgia boys need to have, pickup trucks. Okay, so he needs a rock hound, a rock hunting mobile. Okay, he's laughing at me. Trivia, you ready? Now, let's see how everyone does, and I hope you do well. Please take advantage of all those items I showed today. I showed some good stuff, and I want to see some sales from it. I need some more money. Glad y'all like that one. I don't know if I can come up with one as appropriate as that one, because, the skin doctor I went to decades ago, to show one more little medical story. And it was to have, I don't know, I think that day there were 6 different things. First time, 6 different things that were frozen off, and one thing he cut off and needed 2 stitches back in and whatnot. And so I asked him, I said, I guess it's been a good couple decades ago. I said, well, you see this on me. I said, how do I compare to other people for the number of moles and and issues, he goes, well, the average body has 40 moles. Then he said with a straight face, you're one of those that keeps the average up. That pretty much said it all. I'll never forget that. That pretty much said it all. It's like, okay, so a couple decades later, I've got issues. I need more money. So don't feel bad about buying any of these treasures because, yeah, you're doing me a favor. All right, here we go. Ready, set, first question. Now, listen to them carefully. What three elements? No, I need to change that. What three minerals? Excuse me, big difference. What three minerals are necessary and I see why I wrote that. Here we go. Nope, I was right. This is why you write stuff down, and then you can still be wrong. What three elements? Let's change that back to elements. Okay, got it right this time. What three elements are necessary and have to be present in the formula for something to be called a zeolite? I talked about this. I even said the whole fancy word for it, but if you just want to break it out by the elements, I'll accept that. Or you can use the one big fancy word that encompasses those three elements as well. So what three elements are necessary to be present in the chemical formula of a zeolite? Now, zeolites can have other and varied elements that change out, like the first portion. But to be a zeolite, there is a constant in the formula. And don't say water or H2O. That I'm looking for the other three elements. So, yeah, not water, but the other three elements. Question number 2. This is where I got mixed up with the elements and minerals, because it's what three main minerals, and here you have to listen carefully again, excluding Lazarite. What three main minerals, excluding Lazarite, are present in lapis lazuli for it to be called that? So we know lapis is a rock. So I have what three main minerals, excluding Lazarite, are present in lapis that make it a rock? And I discussed that and covered it. They don't always have to be there, but the three main components are usually there, even if they're in a form you can't visually see. But in general, you know that lapis is composed of three minerals, and so therefore, by the definition, it's a rock. So what three main minerals? And we talked about Lazarite having been considered all these years as one of them. But I said that, and I wanted to stress, because I went back and looked at my notes, that worldwide, they have never found a lapis lazuli specimen yet that is a true Lazarite. So therefore, I'm excluding that. I'm going to start leaning you towards the truth of the matter. And so you actually know what the real mineral is that makes it blue. And it's not lazurite. Okay, so name the 3 main minerals, excluding lazurite, present in lapis that make it a rock. Good luck to all of you. And as always, you know, it's as much joy and fun for me to come here and do this for you. And again, ladies and all of you, thank you for doing the right thing and calling back to customer service. If the show does not come, you know, we don't end the show in the middle of it, then it went wrong. It is not GSM's fault. It is their fault. It is YouTube's fault. So do what you did so we can repost the show to make sure that you get everything that you have so look forward to each and every week. And yeah, and I appreciate that loyal support so very much. All right. I guess that's it, even though I could just keep on going. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful and safe week. Enjoy your spring, and hopefully here it doesn't get too hot too soon so that I can get down and get back to mining. Feel a little bit better than I have a couple months ago. So let's hope that things just continue in that direction. And I hope all of you, if you're not feeling well, I hope that, again, that health and happiness is brought to you, as I'm sure it is well deserved. I can't wait. I will be back next week. We are on a roll. God bless. Take care. See you then.